Have you ever posted a photo of yourself on, maybe Instagram or Facebook, and it just kind of feels like maybe the photo is a little lackluster, or there could be, maybe just a little bit more? If that's the case, I want to run through just some quick things. As a photographer, these are things that I do all the time in Photoshop to just kind of like spice up photos, just add a little bit of interest to them. And I know the term, when people hear that, they like Photoshop photos, they think of this very, artificial, like magazine-esque type look. And that's not particularly what we're going for. I mean, yes, with Photoshop you can, make people skinnier, make people more muscular, but that's not what we're gonna do here. This is more just kind of color alterations, just things we can do to make the photo pop just a little bit more. Actually, most of what we're gonna do is gonna be more changes to the surroundings so that the subject pops a little bit more rather than changes to the subject themselves. So we're gonna get straight into this. I'm in Photoshop right now. We're gonna talk about how to open this image. So if you've got, I've got a picture right here. It's not a bad photo, but it's nothing really special. This was a photo I took a Sunday morning at one of our church's, Sunday morning service. It's nothing crazy, and it's not bad, but we can make it a little bit more interesting. So this is a raw photo because it was shot on my camera. So if we drop this raw photo in, it'll just straight up open this menu for us to do all sort of fun stuff with. If you don't have that, if it's just a regular photo, like maybe you took it on your phone, when you drop it into Photoshop, you're going to see something, you're going to get something a little more like this. And if you go ahead and put that photo in, you can go up top here to filter, and then camera raw filter, and that'll open up the exact same menu for to do all this other stuff. But if you're going to do this professionally, shooting in raw is better, if you can make that a habit. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this photo back in, and we're just going to go through some really quick stuff, some really like basic adjustments just to kind of bring this out. So it's a little bit of a dark photo, so we're going to brighten it up. Personally, I like to boost highlights just because I like that look. Boost shadows, that brings a lot of light into the photo. And then we're going to drop the white slider pretty heavy. And this is kind of just my general take. As you do this more, you'll kind of develop your own sort of look. We can mess with the white balance here if we want to shift that. I may go just a little bit more on the warm side. And then these sliders, you can go into every menu, mess with stuff, figure out kind of what you like. For me, I don't mess with curve or detail, but curve, if you can figure it out, is a very powerful tool. We're going to go into color mixer. This is really where, with my sort of aesthetic that I go for in my photography, this is where a lot is going to come in. So I'm actually going to hit this little button right here, and this is going to kind of give us this sort of like interactable color picker. We can just grab stuff and just kind of click and drag. So I'm going to bring down the saturation on a lot of these brown, or a lot of these blues, a lot of these reds. We want to make sure that the skin tone on the subject stays still very human-like. So we're kind of just dropping saturation on everything but skin tone. And if we click this button right here, we can sort of toggle between the before and after, and you can see there's already a massive difference. I like to jump into color grading. I like to mess with these sliders. They can kind of give you some fun looks. I like to push this one to the left quite a bit, and then I like to push the other one up top to the right, and that kind of just gives a nice little sort of contrast that I particularly enjoy. And now for this, with this photo, this is probably all I would do to it, just if I was editing the photo normally. There are some other things that we can throw in. Geometry is great if you want to sort of crop, maybe adjust the composition of the photo. That can be beneficial. Optics is fun if you want to, maybe add some sort of vignette. That's kind of those shadows or highlights if you go the other direction in that corner. And then distortion. Distortion I like quite a bit to give sort of like that fisheye look. And I think that has a cool aesthetic to it as well. But when you're done, we just go ahead and hit the done button. That will just that'll put the photo back into Photoshop. Then you'll be able to export that and save that. And blast that all over your social media, and it's going to create just sort of a slightly more interesting photo to look at. So, this isn't some crazy photo editing alteration, but it does add a lot. It makes your photos very interesting to look at. And when your photos look sort of more like this, people are going to be more likely to stop on them. People see real life all the time. They don't want to see real life. They want to see something that looks interesting. So if you want people to stop on your photos, give your photos some interest, and you'll develop your own art style as you continue and do it more. But for now, feel free to steal mine. I won't care. But I hope this can help someone.